Sometimes, we need not to look too far ahead of ourselves. Instead, we should look within ourselves, to the real picture. We all have the power to shine. We have the power to say no once in a while. We have the power to make our own decisions and choices and many more. Sometimes, our energy can be on the low when we do socialize with others, as I feel that way when I am dealing with a group of people, and feel that I cannot do anything due to the less energy. More about this under socialization. As a matter of fact, we need to take the word can't out of the vocabulary and dictionary and turn it to I can. When we do have the full energy, be sure to, as mentioned before, balance time out for ourselves to breathe and work on ourselves into whatever we need to do and succeed in life. Yet, we are the ones to be in control of everything around us. This is a neurological condition and it can be treated the right way. It is just finding what works for us and being balanced with everything that we do. I find comfort listening to music, writing down my thoughts on paper or even in my journal every day, as well as at the moment, doing some video blogs to share what is on my mind. Then I can go back to them and see what I feel need to change. Some of these thoughts that were on my mind at the moment should not have been there, as I was giving this demon a hand in doing some form of damage to my spirit and my inner being. I just need to remember when I am doing my videos or finding the comfort to pen and paper in my journal entries, that some of these were valid at the time and that these indicate some real situations and frustrations. There are other ways to cope with this demon, and finding the everyday little things that I enjoy, like being outdoors, petting animals, listening to music, pamper or treat myself to massage or a beauty treatment of some kind, being around my small circle of support that I have at the moment, and many more. Some of these activities may work for you or it may not, but again, it is up to you for what you want to do with your life and how you want to make it better for you. Our life is not a race, it is a journey for us to enjoy and take our time, yet some of us are slower to achieve. I need to just remember my reasons and purpose of my life, as well as knowing that I am a winner despite all. Something to encourage you all from what I am learning myself. Seize the day and start thinking that everything will be okay and that I will conquer anything comes my way. I am in control, and no one else is. I can be a better person for the right reasons and being a better person for myself. I love myself and that, I do deserve better. Anxiety. You need to help me, please. It's normal to feel anxious once in a while. Each and every one of us in our lives will likely feel anxious about something that is happening which is beyond our control. Facing some situations, we tend to think that it's not going to end. But there's an ending, we just need to get through whatever we're facing in life and anxious about. For example, it's normal to feel anxious about facing the challenge of an event that's coming up, like we're about to sit an exam or meet someone new, or even a job interview for our next step in the journey. We'll start to get all sweaty, hot, cold, shaky hands and irregular heartbeat as our heart is racing so fast and loud, while echoing like a drum pounding inside of our head, and that we can't seem to breathe for that minute or second. How we cope with anxiety, though, is really up to us. Yet, when anxieties tend to take over and the fears and the worries start to overwhelm you and interfering with your daily life, you may be suffering from an anxiety disorder. I'm no doctor, but I can't tell you what it is, as you will need to seek help if needed. I am just sharing my experiences about what it feels like to suffer from all these conditions and disorders. This will help you get a clearer understanding about me as a person, and also to be an insight for you all as you read this, that you can support others around you. You see, there's not much support these days for ones that are different, and it makes it harder for us to be ourselves. As we feel that we have to either copy others in a way to fit in or just to compete, when in reality, we don't need to. The more we all understand what anxiety disorders is all about, the better everyone solves it, or at least handle it with care, as well as reducing any symptoms that persist in this disorder. We can then regain and take control of our lives when we know what we can do for ourselves. Anxiety is defined as a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome, or even strong desires to do something, or for something to happen. Types of anxiety. There are different types of anxiety which are categorized into 6 different groups. They are panic disorders/attacks, OCD, specific phobias, general anxiety disorder, GAD, social anxiety disorders and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. I will share with you my knowledge about these types of anxiety and what you can do, as a form of treatment or therapy that may work for you or others that you know suffer from these. 1. Panic disorders/attacks. Anyone can have them at any moment of time in their lives, if they're facing certain challenges. This one is characterized or clinically shows signs of repetitive, unexpected panic attacks, as well as just the fear of experiencing another episode. Sometimes, panic attacks or panic disorders will vary from one person to another, when facing and dealing with panic attacks. For example, it may just come up when I know that I'm about to sit the exam or some form of assessment that needs to be completed at a certain date and time. With this disorder, this can be associated with agoraphobia, fear of going places where help or escape would be difficult in an event of the panic attack. 2. Generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. This type of anxiety disorder is commonly known for people that worry too much or are known as the classic worry warts. As I said before in my introduction to this chapter, it's okay to worry or be anxious over something that is coming up of an event of that challenge, be it an interview or an exam. If we're constantly afraid about certain situations or circumstances, that distracts us from our everyday life and it's persistent with that deep feeling of knowing something bad is going to happen. These people, however, will not know why they're doing this in the first place. 3. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. This form of anxiety disorder is characterized by any unwanted thoughts or behaviors that may be or can be impossible to stop or even control. This could show as a recurring worry that you've forgotten to lock the door, turn off the lights or turn off the oven. This disorder can then lead to you thinking that you may hurt someone that you love, but you don't mean to or don't know how to control that thought pattern. But you may follow through that thought or another one, and this could lead you to maybe suffering from controllable compulsions like washing your hands over and over again, or even to the point of picking at your skin all the time. 4. Phobia. This is like an unrealistic or exaggerated fear of a specific object or activity, or even just a situation in reality, that presents little to no danger at all. Common phobias of certain animals like snakes, rats, spiders, and events like flying, heights, confined spaces. Sometimes, some people may go to the length of their phobias to at least avoid people or isolate themselves. 5. Social anxiety disorder. This one can happen so quick and sudden when we try our best to socialize or to fit in. Even sometimes, this will occur when socializing with others, that we'll have that dreaded fear of being seen negatively by others, as they say image these days, are everything for us females especially. It may be just another dreaded fear of being humiliated by others. This was thought to be known as extreme shyness from people that just do not want to socialize, or they do, yet they struggle associating with people. One thing remains to this day: never force someone that doesn't wish to socialize with you or in a group. Don't take offense, just be understanding and empathetic enough to respect their wishes about this. In the most severe cases, people who suffer from social anxiety disorder tend to avoid socializing altogether and then isolate themselves from others. 6. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. This disorder can also happen to anyone at any given moment of time in their life about something that had happened to them, aftermath of something that was traumatic and life-threatening, of some event like wars, people shooting each other, violence. Sometimes, this disorder could lead to panic attacks so quick and sudden. Symptoms for this are flashbacks/nightmares about what happened in the past, withdrawal from others, heavy breathing, heart racing, dizziness, and most importantly, that they're likely to avoid situations that may remind them of the event they went through. Again, another word of advice to you all here is, never force someone that doesn't wish to socialize with you or in your group, and don't take offense. Just be understanding and empathetic enough to respect their wishes about this. Panic attacks. Help me. I can't breathe. As you have been reading this book of my journey with all these conditions, I hope you can relate somehow to this or know of someone. I feel that, we do need to reach out to others that are going through personal struggles and let them know that they're not alone and that we're there for them. Nobody in their right mind should have to go through it alone, and some of the struggles that I went through, I don't wish for anyone to go through that much pain and grief. Remember, what I am sharing with you is my knowledge and experiences, as I open up to you my life and world. Many people can laugh or point fingers, say that I'm crazy, or I don't always have to prove to everyone about my life experiences or share them if I didn't want to. The fact is, if they perchance at any point in their lives, experience what I've experienced, they will know and understand more about this. I know that there are a lot of people in the world today that are so ignorant, arrogant, blind, stubborn to some of the realities, and that's their problem. I am not saying that you should suffer. I am saying this to be sure that you can ask for help when you need it before anything else goes wrong. It is okay to not be okay, it's okay to ask for help once in a while from people in whom you love and trust to support you through it all. Some people think they are above everyone else and that they are rulers or kings that need to be bowed down to. After all, we are all humans, and we need to remember that, despite how the society is changing right now, with all the media and pressures we have in our generation, what we do and say can affect others in a way that we may not realize. As I mentioned before, that there are 6 different categories of anxiety and ailments. The first 3, or shall I say all of them, at one point share similar traits and outcomes with what happens to people that suffer from anxiety. I will now talk about panic attacks and panic disorders to as many people lacking in knowledge about what it really is. Hopefully how I will illustrate it will be a clearer image in your mind on how it works and what's happening with people that suffer from this. Okay, you are probably going to ask me or think what a panic attack is, and what is really going on with people who suffer from a panic attack, right? Well, here goes with my spin and take of the definition and illustration of a panic attack. Panic attacks usually is a chemical response from the brain that releases some form of hormone adrenaline that will lead to the fight, flight, and fright response, which I call the 3Fs. This hormone sends the message to our brain, which will then initiate response in the rest of the body somehow, to react some way to something that we're encountering. Usually when this is happening, our body and mind may go overdrive. While this is happening, that's when our instinct and everything starts to kick in a notch. We have certain instincts that are to kill or hunt way back in caveman days. This is natural and normal, as it is part of our genetic makeup of who and what we are as humans. Panic attacks comes and goes, and only occurs once in a while when some events are coming up in our lives, like an exam or looking for employment. This can take its toll on us if we let it, and can cause so much intensity and stress on us in all aspects. Try imagining yourself right now, that you're prepped and ready to go on the starting line of the race and that you're about to start running after the gun fires. Your body then goes into state of overdrive with emotions and feelings, with thoughts of some kind. Some people when they race tend to push harder by putting themselves down to get to the end of the finishing line of that race. Again, with adrenaline, which is the major hormone that creates extra energy to our body in order to cope when it's overwhelmed. Yet, the body will get to the stage that it's working overtime and to the extremities, to keep up with everything that's going on inside. Adrenaline is a hormone that gives our body more stamina, energy, and power. Meanwhile, this will keeps you running hard and fast to keep up with everything inside of you. Then, the classic symptoms of panic attack starts to show in the middle of your race, that will come unannounced or when you're so determined and focused to win the race that you're competing in. While you're still running, you'll feel tired and exhausted. Your body will start to experience ache, lightheadedness, grogginess, soreness, and other classic signs, as well as your excitement, as you're almost nearing the end of the race you're in. This should be, to me, a classic example to clearly share with you, and hoping in your mind, it's open enough. I'll like to share with you what panic attack really is, how it feels and looks like when it starts. Others, however, will define their panic attacks differently to mine, yet we all experience it similarly.